Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Twiggy. Today I had not really planned on filming or even putting on makeup, but I was reading Dita Von Teese's beauty book and I started to get weirdly really inspired. So I woke up early this morning and I just felt inspired and glamorous, so I did my makeup. I'm having a serious issue right now with this guy on my face. We're gonna ignore that. So a couple months back, I posted a status on my Facebook that seemed to get a very mixed response, to say the very least. And it basically has to do with what I'm talking about in this video today, which is birth control. I feel like birth control is not really something we really talked about in school, and actually now where I live, it's illegal for people to talk about it, like teachers and nurses and stuff like that. So I thought I would just go ahead and make a video about it because it seems like more girls than not are really trying not to get worked up about this because I'm pretty passionate about birth control. Excuse me. I come from a very, very small town in Texas. I live on a farm. I'm out in the country. I know you probably wouldn't think that looking at me, but it is what it is. I legit looked up all the popular girls from my high school on Facebook the other day, and every single one of them except for one had 2 or more kids already, and I'm 24. So I feel like having kids young in the South is pretty common. That's okay. If you want to have kids young, by all means, you're ready, your husband's ready, go for it. But I'm just not ready yet. I totally want to have kids with my boyfriend / whatever, and I just don't feel at 24 I'm ready yet. I'm still just not ready. I still am figuring things out about life for myself. And mind you, my boyfriend and I have been together for about 3.5 years now, so I get asked a lot, am I gonna have kids? Do I wanna have kids? It seems like where I'm from in the South, it's just normal for us to have kids younger. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere. I'm ignorant of that fact. But the reason I wanted to sit down and make this video is I started having sex when I was 15, and my mom always told me, that's not really what I want you to do. I want you to wait until you're married. I want you to wait until you're really in love with someone and they're really in love with you back. But she also told me, but I'm realistic. If that's not your plan and you're thinking about doing it, we need to talk so we can take the right precautions so you won't become another statistic and another teen mom in the South. So I did have to have that awkward, uncomfortable talk with my mom, but I'm really glad I did. But not everyone is as lucky to have a mom as cool and understanding as mine. So I thought if you were unaware of what's out there as far as birth control goes, I'm pretty well knowledgeable in this subject, so I thought I would share. I guess the reason I was so inspired to do this is because I know so many girls, young girls, who are on their second pregnancy, or maybe it's their first, but they call it an accident. And I guess it just kind of bothers me because there is only a 5% chance for accidental pregnancies, which means you were using protection and you got pregnant. Not using protection, getting pregnant, and calling it an accident is just simply not an accident. That's how babies are made. That is literally how sex works. I just feel like I can't take it sometimes when I hear girls call that an accident. That's not an accident. That's how you make a baby. You need to be using protection, or you need to be planning to have a baby, because probably more than likely one thing or the other is gonna happen. So hard for me to not get angry when I talk about this. If you are not ready to have a baby, you need to not have unprotected sex. You need to take the right precautions so you don't get accidentally pregnant. That's not a thing. Okay, so starting off, the first thing you can use is obviously condoms. There is a 98% chance of success when you're using condoms. So if that's something you're comfortable with and your partner is comfortable with, I would definitely go for that. It's super affordable, obviously. Also, if you honest to God can't afford condoms, they will give them to you for free at Planned Parenthood. I've never been, I just know that they do that. A lot of boys out there will say that they don't like the way condoms feel, therefore a ton of guys kind of will try and talk you into doing it without a condom and, oh, I'll just pull out and it'll be fine. That's not okay either. That's not birth control. The pull-out method is not birth control. Google straight up says, while withdrawal has been criticized as a non-method, it has a 73 to 96% chance of being effective. That's a really wide range. If you told me that my birth control had a 73% chance of success, I would feel really bad about that. I wouldn't feel like that is a good thing that I should rely on, and neither should you. You can definitely get pregnant from the pull-out method. You can get pregnant from pre-cum. If you don't know what that is, I'm sorry, Google it. I don't want to explain that. But that is not a form of birth control, and it's certainly not one that you should be relying on. That's just scary. That sounds like playing Russian roulette to me. No thank you. So that brings me to the second form of birth control I'm gonna talk about, which is called the Nuva ring. If you don't know what the Nuva ring is, go ahead and Google it. Google can tell you so much more than I can. Basically what it is a little plastic ring that you kind of stick up there and leave up there for a while, and it's kind of like, I don't know how it works. I know it involves hormones in some way, so if you're looking for non-hormone alternatives, this is not a good one. This does include hormones, as do most birth controls. We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, the Nuva ring is supposed to be super effective. It's supposed to have a great chance of success. That's definitely a birth control you can rely on. Something I would like to note, I have never personally used that one, so I can't tell you a whole ton about it, but what I can say is my doctor told me that sometimes the male will complain that they can feel it inside of you and just weird stuff like that. I've heard of it getting pulled out of people, and just Google that one. Once again, I can't speak from personal experience, but that one is out there. That's an option that's available. The next one I'm gonna tell you about is pretty obvious as well, and that is the pill. There is probably like 80 different kinds of the pill. So if you find one that's really awful for you, chances are there's a better one out there for you. I used to take the pill when I was younger, when I was like 16, but I never relied on it for birth control. I didn't trust it. I always used condoms because I was really bad at taking it every day at the same time. So, but you have to keep in mind with something like the pill is it takes about 3 months for it to be in your system, so you can totally rely on it. So the first 3 months that you're on the pill, it's not really effective yet. You don't want to trust it just yet. You have to take the pill at around the same time every single day. If that's really hard for somebody who has a crazy schedule, like my schedule's totally random, so that's hard for me to say I'm gonna be available every time at this time. That might not work out too well for you, so I've never trusted the pill, honestly. I have been on several. Another thing I want to add with that is if you forget a day of the pill, you kind of have to start over another 3 months because you can't rely on it anymore because you messed up. There are ways to correct that, like you take 2 pills the next day or something. Talk to your doctor about that because that's not always gonna work. That's not always something you should be relying on. That's just not really how that works. So you kind of have to wait another 3 months of you taking your pill at the same time every day for you to be able to comfortably rely on it. And I'm just not that committed. I don't want to think about something like that every single day. That's where I know most girls in my life say they accidentally got pregnant, and I'm like, no, you weren't taking your birth control properly. What did you think was gonna happen? Sorry, I'm not trying to be offensive. I just feel like a lot of people are misinformed about this, and it's such a simple equation in my head. I'm trying to sit here and explain it in the simplest terms that I can, but that's just not how birth control works. The next thing I want to talk to you about is called an IUD. I have had an IUD before. I chose to get Paragard, and I made a whole video about my experience with that. Let me just tell you, it was not fun. I did not like it. It did not work well with my body. A lot of times they won't give that to people who haven't had kids. Hello, me, have no kids, because it's basically a little piece of copper that's like shaped like a T that goes up into your cervix, which feels so much fun. Let me just tell you, that process feels great. And I'm being totally sarcastic. It felt awful. I thought I was dying like every day. Clearly that wasn't the one for me. There is another one called Mirena, which is probably the more popular one. That one does have hormones in it. And I was trying to find something hormone free at the time. I was like, I don't want to have like my body pumped full of like all this shit all the time. So that's why I got Paragard, but it was terrible. I would not recommend that if you haven't had kids yet, or Mirena for that matter. But since then, they have come out with one that's more, I guess it's smaller, but it's kind of for like, not teenagers, but young adults who haven't had kids yet, and it's called Skyla, I think. Beyond that, there is a hormone implant that you can get. They like implant a little like stick into your arm that releases hormones, which once again just sounds absolutely horrifying to me. I'm a huge baby. I hate needles. I know it's a long story. Just trust me when I say I hate needles. I hate getting shots. I hate anything invasive like that. So having something stuck under my arm, I just feel like I would want to rip it out every day. There is also, I think there's a birth control patch, like a nicotine patch, but birth control. Don't really know a whole lot about that one. I wouldn't trust that one personally. I get that feeling like if the more room for air that there is, the worse I feel. And I feel like there's room for air on that one. So I can't see myself personally wanting to use that one. Which brings me to what I am on, which is the birth control shot. I know I hate shots. This seemed to have the least amount of room for air, so I went for the shot. I have to get an injection in my booty once every 3 months. Around that time, 12 to 14 weeks, I have to get a shot. It's really simple. My doctor has called it into the pharmacy and I go and pick it up once a year until my yearly visit with her, and then she calls in the next year for me. So it's very convenient. My boyfriend gives it to me at home and I hate doing it. I hate shots so much. It's not a really painful shot. There's some mild discomfort, but it's really not painful. I'm just a huge baby and I've had some really awful shots before, so I'm just a really big baby. But my boyfriend's really good with me, so. The shot, you do have to wait after you get it. You're not immediately totally protected. There's, I think it was about 3 months again that I had to wait for it to kick in for me to actually start relying on it. So in that time period, you can totally use condoms. That's a really great way to protect yourself until your birth control does kick in. So once again, it's not like an immediate thing. The only thing that I've ever heard of that is immediate is the Paragard and the Mirena. Those work immediately. Once they're implanted, you're totally protected, you're totally fine. I don't know if the same is true for the arm implant, but I would assume so. Maybe not. Maybe you have to wait 3 months because it's hormonal. If I'm wrong about any of this, please feel free to correct me in the comments down below. I will not be upset with you. If I'm wrong, please correct me. If you are having sex, please talk to someone. If you are not comfortable talking to your mom about it, because that can be really awkward, especially if you live in the Bible Belt where you get kind of judged a lot for having premarital sex. Maybe talk to one of your mom's friends about it. They're not your mom. They're not going to be too crazy. If you feel a good relationship with another adult, tell them. I just think it's really important to protect yourself, not only so you can feel safe and comfortable and sleep at night, not have to worry if you're going to be a teen pregnancy, dropout, whatever. I used to be really in love with a guy before I met my boyfriend. He did not love me back at all in the slightest. He would lie and said that he did so I would have sex with him. And if I had his kids now, I would be such a single mom. He would have nothing to do with me, and I know that for a fact. And I'm just like, oh my God, dear Jesus, thank you that I never got pregnant, because if I had to deal with him every day for the rest of my life now, I might not even be with the guy that I'm with now, so that's horrifying. So please, if you are planning on having sex with anyone, talk to an adult about it. Talk to someone. If you are an adult, just go talk to the doctor. Just go to the doctor yourself. You're an adult. Just go do that. It's not weird. It's not awkward. I mean, I should know. I've been going since I was 15, and like I said, I'm in the South. I'm in the Bible Belt. I have always had strange colored hair and tattoos. Can you imagine what I look like sitting in like the waiting room there? Everyone's like, She's pregnant. She got knocked up. She don't know. And I'm like, no, I'm getting my birth control refilled because I'm horrified to get pregnant with the wrong person. So I think it's very important to talk about these things so maybe other people can learn from other people's mistakes and you don't have to relive them yourself. I hope you got something out of this video. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. If you liked this video or appreciated it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It just helps my channel out. Maybe more people will see this and not get knocked up because of it. That'd be cool. If you want, you can subscribe to my channel. I put out really strange videos once a week. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I hope you guys all have a great week. I am so sorry if this video offended anyone. I did not mean to offend anybody. I am just trying to educate the people out there who don't know what's available, don't know what their options are, so they think the pull-out method is the best option, and it's just not. There's so many better options, so many more effective options. So like I said, I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm just trying to spread the knowledge. I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.